Hi, I'm Roy from First Machine Tool Accessories. I'm here today with Will from Kitagawa, and we're looking at chuck maintenance. So, chuck maintenance, what's the first thing we're looking at?
Probably grease is the most important.
Okay,
So yeah, as part of your daily maintenance, you should clean the chuck off with an airline, get rid of all the coolant and swarf at the end of the day, and then re-grease the chuck by the grease nipples.
okay, and what's the reason for that?
Well, the grease is crucial for lubricating the insides of the chuck. It creates a barrier between the sliding metal parts. So without that, there'd just be lots of grinding together and you'd lose grip force.
Okay, so how often are we greasing the chuck?
Normally once a day, maybe more if you're cutting cast iron or you're using really high pressure coolant. If you're not using the bore of the chuck, you could use a chuck bung and that would help keep some of the swarf and coolant out of the chuck. Different size chucks require different amounts of grease. So a small 6-inch chuck, maybe one pump with a big grease gun. If it's a 10-inch chuck, maybe 2 pumps. So
What, each jaw?
yeah, each jaw. So
Okay.
there's 3 grease nipples, so 1 per jaw. Yeah, that's correct.
So what's the correct procedure for greasing the chuck?
Well, first we'd turn the machine off, then we would find the grease nipples, grease each jaw with the required amount of grease. Then we fully stroke the chuck without a component, so the jaws move all the way in and all the way out. And we did it several times, and that evenly distributes the grease throughout the chuck. When we pump the grease in, it'll also displace any coolant or any other contaminants within the chuck.
Is there anything else you can check while you're greasing the chuck?
Yeah, when you're stroking the jaws, you should always check you are getting a full jaw stroke using the marks on jaw 1. If the draw nut comes out of adjustment, then it is possible to have a reduced jaw stroke.
Any additional maintenance?
Well, periodically it is good to check the jaw torque and the mounting bolt torque and the run out of the chuck, just in case anything's come loose from vibrations or things like that.
So what about longer term maintenance?
Well, every 6 months the chuck should be disassembled and you can strip it down and that gives you a chance to clean out any swarf that has made its way into the chuck. You can inspect any parts for wear or damage and replace any parts necessary.
So what grease do we recommend?
Well, the best grease to use is the Kitagawa Chuck Grease Pro. This has been specifically designed for power chucks. It's a lot thicker and has a lot more anti-wear properties than standard grease. So if you use regular general purpose grease or bearing grease, it will just wash out with the coolant and it won't be effective after a couple of hours. So,
what are the implications of poor lubrication of the chuck?
well, if you don't maintain the chuck, you'll end up with contamination and more friction inside the chuck. So that will give you lower accuracy, lower gripping force. You could end up with parts moving, and of course, it will damage the chuck internally. So, very important.
Right, thanks very much, Will. That was very informative. Hopefully the viewers
Yeah.
got something out of that.
Cheers, Roy.
Cheers, mate. Yeah.